Okay, brief video here on noise diagnostics. I picked up a noise, and an awful lot of things that generate noise don't generate a fault. You won't necessarily get a notification light on the dash. Okay, in this case, I was actually driving through a drive-through, and because the building was to my left, the noise off the vehicle was, very clearly reflected off the side of the building. And it's pretty common to pick up a noise in the wintertime and not notice it. Let's face it, it's cold outside. You drive with the windows up almost all the time. And you could be going for months and never know. Unless you're going down the road and everybody's staring at you. But there might be other reasons for that anyways. So basically what I do here is I try to isolate one wheel at a time, because I know that it was a noise that was attached to the drivetrain. Okay, and when I was standing still with brakes on, there was no noise. When I put the vehicle in park, there was no noise. If I revved the motor while in park or in neutral, there was no noise. As soon as the vehicle crept forward, there was a noise, and the noise correlated to the speed. Now, I wasn't going very fast through a drive-through, but if you inch your way along and the noise is in proportion to that low speed, and then if you drive out of your drive-through a little bit quicker and the frequency of the sound increases, you know that the noise is directly related to the rotation of the wheels in some fashion or another. Okay, so what I've done here, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. I've got I got the parking brake on the rear, and I've got the transmission in neutral, and I've got the thing jacked up on its factory jack stand, or its lift point, pardon me. So this is the only wheel that's actually going to be able to rotate. Okay, and if you listen for it, that's the sound that I heard right there. Now, that's not an expensive sound. I'm almost 100% certain I know what it is. I'm pretty sure that it's the dust shield itself, the metal dust shield on the back side of the brake rotors. Pretty common in the wintertime. Let's face it, the highway trucks are putting salt and sand on the road every time it snows. And so you've got all that debris on the road, and it all gets flushed up into the wheels. And so those shields theoretically block all that stuff. In reality, they can't. It's impossible. So you're going to get some stuff up in there, and sometimes you get a little granule of a little pebble, a little bit of stone, some sand, whatever, laying in behind there. And so, you have to think about what moves and what doesn't move. Well, your wheel rim moves, your hub assembly and your brake rotor moves. Okay, here's your brake disc, caliper, and your brake pads. They're locked in position, they don't move. So places to check for this sound, look for something lodged in between the brake rotor and the pad. In a real extreme case, you might even see a scratch or a groove starting to form on the face of the brake rotor. And that'll happen if you get a stone embedded into the pad. And every time you put the brakes on, that stone carves a little rut into the face of the brake rotor. So I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a very flat, uniform brake rotor, which is good. These rotors are about a year old. I don't know what the backside looks like, but just the tone of that doesn't sound like a real heavy piece of metal. That sounds like something a little thinner, more like a piece of sheet metal. And the only thing back in there that's thin gauge is that dust shield. So what I'm going to do is set the vehicle back down and crack the wheel nuts loose, lift it back up, take the wheel off, and have a little inspection. Okay, I have to confess to an epic fail here. I was making a whole series of videos on wheel and tire and suspension inspection, etc., etc. One of the first videos that I did introduced you to a wheel lock and a wheel lock adapter. So one of these bolts had a spline formed onto the outside of it. The adapter has the female spline. It fits right over top. and the adapter has the 17mm hex, and your wheel wrench fits on there. It's an anti-theft device, okay? So I had it on there, I demonstrated it, and then I proceeded to do, I don't know, 6, 8 other videos, and then the day was done and it was time to go home. Guess who forgot to take the wheel lock adapter off the wheel? Yeah, this guy did. This guy forgot. So, and that particular day, I filmed it actually on a day when school had been canceled, and because of the amount of snow we had 6 or 8 inches of snow outside. So I drove the thing out of the shop and, you know, went home. Where did that wheel lock adapter fall off? We will never know. So now I was in a real situation because I can't take the wheels off because I don't have the adapter. So I ended up taking the car to a garage, and they have a impact tool that basically goes onto the outside of the adapter, and I think I have a wrench that has a similar shape. Let me grab it. No, I don't. Anyways, it looks like a very coarse spiral, and it's designed to go counterclockwise. And it's an impact socket, and you put it on your impact. And so it goes on over top of the splines, and the impact driver pounds it in and turns it clockwise. And this thing basically spirals itself onto the wheel lock bolt and eventually grabs it well enough that it can spin it out. Okay. Had to do that on all 4 wheels, and then had to buy 4 brand new wheel bolts. So you can see this nice shiny painted one compared to all these others. Okay. So it was about a half an hour of shop time, and these things are about $3.50 a piece, which is not a big hit. But now I don't have wheel locks on here anymore. But this thing's an 07, and these are not particularly desirable rims, so I'm not super worried about somebody coming along and pulling them off. And all you viewers, don't go and prove me wrong, please. Alright, let's get this wheel off. Okay, here's the X3 with the wheel off, and you can see the brake rotor and brake caliper, pads, etc. Shock, strut, coil spring, etc. Okay, so we're trying to track this sound, right? So when the wheel's off, then we just rotate this brake rotor. A little tougher to rotate without the wheel on there. And you can hear the sound, okay? You can also hear that it's fairly high frequency. It sounds thin, like thin metal. I didn't think it would be this easy to find, but it is this easy to find. Here is your dust shield back here, and see that? That's not supposed to do that. So I'm gonna have to take the brake caliper off. No big deal. 2 bolts from the back. The brake rotor itself slides off. This rotor is separate from the hub, and it's held on. There's a set screw down here that holds the brake rotor to the hub. Take that set screw out. Rotor will be off, and then I'll be able to access that panel and see what happened to it. By the way, I had said in part 1 that you can get pebbles and such up there. This can honestly happen to a brand new vehicle. Like, you could literally take ownership of your brand new vehicle, whatever it is, drive down the road and pick up a pebble, okay? It's not something that only happens to pre-owned vehicles. You go down a gravel road, you got every chance in the world of having this happen to you. You go down a road that's been sanded and salted, you have every chance of this happening to you. Now, that's a different story, okay? But picking up a squeal or picking up a scrubbing noise from grit and debris on the road, that is an equal opportunity offender. That'll happen to any vehicle at all. And like I say, in the winter when you're driving with the windows up, you could be driving like that for months, okay? Is it going to cause damage and harm? Not usually. if you did have a pebble make its way into the brake pad and score your brake rotor, yeah, that's damage. Would that render the rotor, you know, would it fail it? Not likely. The groove wouldn't likely be that deep. At the end of the day, the stone's going to get worn down little by little every time you put the brakes on, but you will get a squeal, all right? And in that case, your diagnostics is a little different. You're going to hear the squeal only when you apply the brakes, okay? So if we rotated the brake rotor, if you had a stone in there, you wouldn't necessarily hear the squeal, but then you put the brakes on and you would. Now you might think, oh, well, maybe that's that little wear indicator that grabs along on the face of the rotor. And you might be right there too. So you got to take things apart and have a look. If your brakes are fairly new, then they won't be worn down to the wear indicators. So that's not going to be the issue. Like I said, if you pick up a stone, it'll sometimes make a little mark like that. And you know, a rule of thumb is it's going to be the rear one that you can't see, right? It's just, things are never going to be super easy. Even this isn't easy, but it's on the scale of mechanical repairs, this is easy.